Hello, Matt here for Sonicstate, and today we are looking at this, the new HexDrums by Ericasynths and Hexinverter. The ethos of the drum machine is a fusion of Hexinverter's Mutant circuits mixed with the techno weaponry of Ericasynths. I'm going to run through some of the design and also some of the features and tell you exactly what I think about this latest offering from Ericasynths and Hexinverter. Okay, so on the back, we've got a clock in, clock out. These are all on 1/4 inch, by the way. And then we've got a reset in, and then we've got all of our individual outputs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all of them. There's the USB there for connecting it up to a computer where you can put in firmware updates and also save patterns to and from it. You've got your MIDI in and out, which you can use for sync. I'm not sure what else can be used with that. I'm not sure if there's any MIDI CC. I'll have to check that. You've then got your headphone out, and then you've got stereo left and right as well. This then also comes with a 12-volt power supply included, and then we've got our on and off there as well. I should add as well, these end cheeks are rather nice. It's a solid build. It feels good. It feels very robust. I love the look of this, the yellow and the black, very different to their Perquons drum machine that they have out. And this is, I should say, a very different beast. And the way that I differentiate the two is that I'd say the HexDrums is kind of more of a nod to the kind of traditional drum set out there, whereas the Perquons takes you off in a different kind of direction altogether. This is kind of the Hexinverter Eurorack modules fused with some extra joy and love from Ericasynths combined together. So don't think of these as just the Hexinverter Eurorack modules put into a system with a sequencer added. No, it's much more than that. Ericasynths, just like they've done in the past, have worked together with Hexinverter to kind of pull something together that's unique in its own right. I will say that this is fully analog, as far as I'm aware. There are some samples that have been added to the cymbals, so you can actually choose, I believe, an analog sample, and then you've got some samples that you can choose from. And the master output is again derived from the Glue by Hexinverter, which is their compressor that is very well respected. All right, let's have a look at the front panel. We've got a ton of dials here to play around with, which says to me performance, nuance, and the ability to really dial in and get what you need without doing any menu diving. In fact, there's pretty much zero menu diving when it comes to using this. Now, a lot of you are probably asking how these dials feel, and they feel really, really good. There's probably zero wobble on them at all. They've got a nice kind of tension to them, not too loose, not too hard, and same with these flick switches. They all feel really good as well. There's 10 voices to play around with. We've got a bass drum here. We've got bass drum 2 with less controls on it, but I like the sound of this one. This one's kind of more at 808E. This one, I don't want to say 909E, but we'll have a listen to it in a second. We've got this interesting one here called Machine, which gives us these kind of membranes, and it's got noise, and yeah, it's a really interesting addition here to a drum machine. We've got the snare drum, we've got a clap, we've then got Rimshot here, and then we've got open and closed hi-hats, and then we've got a crash and a ride as well to play around with. That gives us our 10 voices. Over on the right here though, we've also got this master section, which gives us a compressor where we can set the threshold and ratio. We can add some gain to that as well, and the response time. And then we've got this master kind of drive as well with a blend dial on it. We've got all our sequencing buttons down here as well. Now you'll probably notice though in this video there's a lot of, and these are noisy. In a kind of really nice and satisfying way though. So sorry if they get a bit clicky in this video, but yeah, I really like these. You know you're making an edit when you press one of these keys, that's for sure. We've then got the bars down here, which gives us 16 steps per bar. And we've got 4 of those, gives us a total of 64. We've then got these things we can play around with, where we can add accent, we can do ratcheting, we can actually do probability as to when something's going to play or not. And then we've got micro timing as well, so we can shift stuff around and push things forwards and backwards in time and put them a little bit off the grid, which I think that's a really cool addition. We've then got something here called scale, which isn't a musical scale, but it actually allows you to divide the clock or multiply the clock if you want per track. So you could have your kick drums running at 1/4 the speed of the clock, and then you could have your hi-hats running at twice the speed or something like that, or, you know, whatever kind of division you want. We'll have a play around with that. We've got our banks, we've got our patterns as well, which you can save and you can move through them. So it gives you the ability on the fly to kind of move between different patterns. We've got this step tap, which allows us to play on the front here. And then we've, of course, over here, we've got our track select. We can do shuffling and rolling. We can clear things here. We've got shift to get to kind of secondary functions. Start, stop, and record. Oh yeah, and a big dial here to set our tempo. And also, if you're going into the configuration, which is over here, shift, config, you can then get into things like updating firmware, connect it over USB to kind of save things to and from it. Oh, you can also change the kind of the clock that it sends out, so you can do different PPQNs, and you can also do MIDI sync and all that kind of thing. That's all in your config. Let's have a listen to some of the sounds. So let's just sequence something in really quickly. We just hit track select, choose your track. So 1 is your bass drum, 2 is your bass drum 2, and so on and so forth. So we'll select bass drum 1, and with that selected, we'll just put in a nice simple 4 to the floor. And as you can hear off the bat, it's really pokey, as you'd expect from Hexinverter and Ericasynths. So we've got an overall level for each one of these voices, which is great. So now with this kick drum, you've got master pitch, master decay, got this nice sub. You can hear that. Really nice. Pitch decay, and the decay mount. Can really dial in and find where you want to go. Now this is working on a sine wave, but you can actually go to square wave. If you want to go there, I really like it on a sine wave. Just dial that back a little bit, and we've got a click level. So if you want to soft the front end, or with a little bit more attack, you can get that. I'd like to maybe see that a little bit more enhanced. You know, when it's on 100%, it'd be cool if you can really bring out that click. Now, bass drum 2 is quite interesting. So let's go over to track 2 here, and let's put a 4 to the floor on there. If you've got this on headphones, you'll hear there is so much low end in this, and this is because this bass drum is kind of focused more around the 808 vibe, if you like. We've got our pitch again, decay, so you can go fully like that. Oh, I mean, that on a PA, this tone kind of allows you to add that front end click to it, if that's what you want. Let's take the decay down. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's great to have there, but yeah, it's really let's put them both together, you see, and that's the beauty of this. It's like we've got 2 kick drums here, one being softer, the bass drum 2. Yeah, I love that. It's nice. So you can kind of combine them together however you want, and flick the switch, get your square wave on that first one. Nice. Now, if there is anything that is a good marker of a good drum machine, it's the kick drum. And in this case, we've got 2 kick drums, and both of them I really like. 2 completely different flavors, and you can layer them up, you can use them independently, and I think they've done a really cracking job with these. They're big, they're powerful, they're punchy. There's a lot of low end if you want it in there. There's all the pitch envelopes that you can play around with. Yeah, really nicely done. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for those. Okay, let's have a look at machine. Like I say, this is a really interesting addition to a drum machine. It is a kind of percussive sound because, well, we've got noise in there, we've got a click, We've got noise decay. Just let that ring out. We've even got the pitch of the noise we can play around with. You can get down into that kind of bit crush world if you want to go there. So it's really, really versatile. Let's take the noise out a second and take the click out. And we've got this membrane level here, 1 and 2. And you've got an independent level for each one. And then you've got a pitch decay, membrane decay, and decay amount. So you can kind of get kick drums there as well, I guess. And we can detune those. And let's bring the kick drums back in. So while it gives you something really percussive, it also gives you something that's kind of pitchable. So that can be quite nice to play around with. So that's called Machine. Now what I'd really like to see maybe with this in a future update is it'd be great if you could maybe sequence some of the pitches of this, because then it would kind of almost make it a self-contained drum machine, but with the capability of a kind of synth voice, if you like. Because I was playing around with this machine. Let's just take the kick drum out, and if you extend that decay, you can actually make more kind of more drones, take away the noise, take away the click. And you can just end up with, you know, that sounds to me like it could be then pitchable. So it'd be cool if you could record in some pitch changes over time. That'd be nice. Okay, moving on. We've got snare drum here. So let's go over to our snare and let's just maybe pop that on there and there. Now this has got a lot of front end to it if you want it. And we've got two different filters here. We've got a high pass and a band pass. So band pass allows us to really sort of chisel out where we want that to sit. Then we've got this kind of snappy shell mix, if you like. So this is more of the shell sound. And then you bring in the rest. And then you've got resonance, different modes, high, mid, and low there as well. Something like that. Clap, yeah, why not? Let's bring that in, just turn that down a little bit. So the snare drum is just brilliant, I absolutely love it. Loads of different sweet spots in there. Lots of noise if you want it, lots of attack if you want it, and the dual filters that you can use in there along with the resonance, it just gives you lots and lots of different variety. Yeah, really good stuff. So here's our clap. And this thing can just sustain and just kind of turn into white noise. And I like that. Like I say, there's elements about this which is really kind of performative. You know, the ability to play with all these filters, the ability to play with the sustain. There's even a reverb on this clap here as well. And again, there's a filter. Filter can be bypassed as well. So that's nice. Let's go over to our Rimshot. And now we're building up quite a lot here. We can actually mute things as well. So if we want to, we can go into mute here. And we can take everything out and just listen to our rim here. Equally, we can hold down shift and now we're in solo mode. And now we can just solo whichever voice it is that we want, or voices. Which you can use in a live context, I suppose, as well, which is kind of nice. Let's just leave that rim shot like that. So with the rim shot, we've got pitch. Again, we've got a filter on here as well. High pass, low pass, and band pass to choose from. And we've actually got 3 flavors of rim shots to play around with, which is kind of nice. Nice and pokey. And then yeah, we can just come back out of solo mode. All right, hi-hats, let's go for it. We've got open and close hi-hats. I'm going to go for, let's put in some open ones first. We've got a decay we can play around with on those, as well as a filter, which can be bypassed completely. And then with the close hi-hats, let's just put those in. You've actually got a mode here where you can choke the open hi-hats with the closed ones, or not if you want. Or you've got this mode here called fade, where you get, I think what it does, it takes away a bit of the front end and gives you a little bit of the decay of the open, which I really like. That's really nice. All right, should we have some cymbals? Why not? Bit of crash. Now with the crash, let's solo that. You've got the ability to pitch it, but there are actually different crashes you can choose. Some of them take your head off. You've got to be really careful with some of those. There's a decay on there as well, so you know, if you just want it to be kind of short and sort of add to your hi-hats as well. So let's bring those in. And there's our cymbals working with those. And then we've got our ride as well. So let's take those out. Ride. What's interesting about the ride actually is it's got this loop function. We can turn it on and off, and we've got pitch on it as well. And you can hear now with that looping, what happens is when it gets to the end of of the ride being played, it plays it again. And you get those sort of things. And you can turn it off. Kind of nice. Again, it's probably something to play around with when I'm playing live. Okay, let's have a look in the master section here. Oh yeah, we've got a big volume button as well we can use. So, master section, this is pretty cool. Now, when you've got a lot of drums going on like this, the chances are your levels can get a bit manic. So they've built in this compressor here with the threshold, the ratio, and a gain to bring it back up. There's a response you can play around with it on and blend as well. So let's just put it all the way on. So now it's 100% in, and just set the threshold just so it's kicking in. You can see this light here, it's really cool. It shows us actually how it's working. We can crank it so, you know, maximum ratio, full on threshold. And it might be that you just want to blend that in. Now that's something that I do when I'm playing live, and I'm really glad that's kind of built into here. I tend to take all my drums and I will parallel compress them pretty hard and put them back in the mix with my dynamic drums, which is essentially what this allows you to do. And then you can back that off a little bit so it's not working so hard. And yeah, you've got a response time here you can play around with. So if you just want it compressing all the time, you can do that. Or if you want a little bit more dynamics, you can add that back in. There's a gain here which allows you to bring it back up, but, and I'll just turn the volume down as I do this, you can drive it. Yes! Without it. And it might be that, you know, you just want to blend that in. Now the other thing is you don't have to use that gain there. You've got a gain down here. So it might be that we've got, let's put this on 100% and we've got a master drive. And maybe we'll just blend that in like 50% just for a bit of, you know, heaviness. But you could then still add more here and just turn it into if you want to go there, you can go there on this. Cool, okay. So we've got that going. Now there's a lot more things that we can play around with these, like ratchet and accent and odds. And to my mind, I mean, it sounds great. It's really, really punchy. I'd love to hear this like banging out through a PA, that's for sure. And it doesn't just have to be techno bass and distorted. You know, we turn this right down. Let's just take that synth line out. You know, it's heavy, but you know, with these direct outputs, you can take that out and run it through some delays and that kind of thing. And what you're hearing there is the looping on those cymbals on the ride, which sounds almost like a delay in itself. So that's a nice touch. So in order to save that, all we need to do is basically go over to our pattern select here, and we can choose any of these slots to put it into, and we're on pattern 2 at the minute, and I hit record and it's just saved that now into number 2. So if we want to also save that into another slot, we can go pattern select, hold down record, and then press the next one along. So now we've got that saved in both pattern 2 and pattern 3. Now what I'll do is I'm going to go into pattern 3, and I can make this different, of course. And I'm going to do, first of all, I'm just going to go back up there. Now that's a global tempo, by the way. You can't, as far as I'm aware, change different tempo for each pattern. Going into pattern 3 here, so let's play around with some of the kind of the last steps that we want. So we can go last step, choose our track actually first. So let's say with the closed hats, last step at the minute is 16th. And I can make that one 6th, and let's make the machine last step, let's make that one 9. So I'm going to make these all quite odd numbers. Last step for bass drum 2 is 11. You can already hear, just turn down our cymbals a little bit. And yeah, snare drum, last step on that one, let's go to 14. Now everything's starting to move in and out of time. Now if you want to just delete everything, that's very easy. Hit clear, hit pattern, and we're back there now. Back to a fresh canvas. Let's just select our kick drum, hit start, let's just put in 4 to the floor there. And instead of programming everything back in that way, let's put it into step tap mode, hit record, and then we can just literally, it's like overdub mode if you like. So with that going, you know, we've got all our channels here, we don't need to select our tracks anymore, so let's go to our close hat. And the open hat. And our second kick drum here as well. So as you probably notice, as I was playing that in, it's quantizing it for me. So I don't know how to change the settings on that. It's not something, I don't even know if you can, but obviously I'm not playing it in super accurately like a robot, and it is moving things for me. So that's good that it does that quantization. So I'm glad that's in there. Okay, let's play a little bit with the ratcheting. Basically, make sure you're on the track that you want. So let's go with the closed hats. We're on there. Hit ratchet, and then you'll see all your steps here that are lit up. We've got something programmed in. So let's maybe on that particular step, we can ratchet it up to 8 times. Or 3. Seven on that one. And that's ratcheting. Really, really simple to do. Play around with the odds as well. So let's do that on our kick drum. And so maybe on this one, it's on 100% at the minute, but we can actually do divisions, sort of musical divisions if you like, rather than like percentages. So this one now should just play every other time. And this one will play every 3 times essentially, I think. And now we've got something that's kind of, yeah, feels a bit more complicated than just a 4-bar loop. Now this micro timing's nice. So where's our snare? Let's bring that back in. So let's go to our snare, and we've got a snare playing here. Let's turn on micro time, select that, and we can now move it forwards or backwards. And you can just get this movement, which is quite nice. I'd really like to see maybe an option where you could apply that micro timing across the whole thing in one go. So like a master micro timing where everything just gets pushed and pulled a little bit more. I couldn't see anything about that in the manual. And then lastly, we've got accent. And let's go to our kick drum. We'll hear this maybe a little bit more. Let's just solo our kick at the minute. So on this first step here, I'll press it once. It's quieter than the others, and that's because we haven't added an accent to it, which we press it again, it gives us that. So we can go back to these and we can change the accent, maybe add so yeah, we've got some movement there in the volume, which is kind of nice. Yeah, so there we go. I really like the sound of this. I think it sounds really cool. There's definitely things I'd love to see in maybe future updates, such as being able to record the pitching of the machine. And like say with the micro timing, to be able to apply that would be really nice as well. Now the only input on this is a clock input as far as I'm aware. There is the MIDI input there as well. I don't know what the MIDI implementation is like, but I could maybe perhaps see myself having a few faders set to the side of a MIDI controller, which will allow me to manipulate multiple things at once. The thing about using dials, of course, is you're pretty much you can only use 2 at once. With faders, you've got this extra additional, like multiple things playing around at the same time. Now there's no effects in here other than just the reverb on the clap. And yeah, I mean, unlike, I don't know, for example, the perc ones, this is a very different beast, which is, the perc ones has got a lot of, well, it's got delays in there that you can play around with. This, there's none of that. So if you want to use any additional effects, you're going to have to take the output, run it through some external stuff and mix that in. Again, in terms of effects, you know, the accent, the ratchet, odds, probability, and the micro timing, they're really the only kind of additional effects that you've got in there for things. And that's enough for me. I think the more I've used this, the more I've kind of gone, oh, this is just like a really, really good, simple, but powerful drum machine. It doesn't do all the kind of extra things like the perc ones does, or other drum machines out there where they've got high pass filters on things and that kind of thing. It's in its own right, it is a really, really good quality, simple but powerful and versatile drum machine. I guess that's how I'd put it really. The master compression and distortion, really nice touch. I like that because you can just, you know, you can take, very polite to there, wherever you want to go. I'm not sure actually how fast this goes, but it certainly goes fast enough. So if you want to go there, you can go there. This drum machine is focused on being a drum machine, and it's not so much focused on being that kind of all-in-one, all-encompassing performance-based machine where you've got loads of effects and you've got ability to do all the rises and that kind of thing. You can do that if you learn how to use things like, I don't know, like with the snare drum or with the clap, and you do things like that. Maybe, you know, with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to get there. I haven't spent long enough with it, but I'm pretty sure with a bit of muscle memory and a bit of time playing with this, I'll be able to get those kind of things out of it. Now this is available to order now, and it's about, I think, 1,200 euros all in all. And I think they're going to be shipping in around December. And certainly if you was thinking of buying all these individual components on their own from Hexinverter within the Eurorack range, for example, or building it up from other modules, it's certainly going to cost you a lot more than 1,200 euros. Whereas the perc ones that they do, that's 1,700 euros, but it's a different beast altogether. So I can understand why they brought this out and where it sits within their product line. Now, I just really like the sound of this. I've enjoyed playing with it in a short time that I've had to play with it, and I'd certainly like to play around with it a little bit more, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, if you've got any questions, any thoughts below, please do add them to the comments. We'll try and respond to them all if we can. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Bye for now.